You can hear the open water calling, right? But before you launch into any of Wisconsin's incredible lakes, there's a tiny bit of paperwork to navigate. Welcome to this explainer. Think of me as your virtual harbor master, here to guide you through the exciting, yes, exciting, because it gets you on the water, process of getting your boat legally registered in Wisconsin. Just imagine the sheer freedom waiting for you out on Lake Michigan, or, any of the thousands of gorgeous inland lakes we have here. We all want to get out there immediately. But first, we gotta cross some administrative T's. It might sound like a chore, I get it, but this is your literal gateway to the water. So we are going to transform this whole bureaucratic process into a super simple, empowering checklist. Getting this done means you can legally and safely launch your vessel as fast as possible. Knowing you're 100% compliant, that brings total peace of mind. And that means you can focus entirely on making memories out on the waves. Here's our captain's log for today. We'll run through why you need to register, gathering your docs, the actual process, some rules, tips for new owners, and a quick look at future updates. All right, part 1, why register your boat and understanding the legal stakes. Let's look at exactly who needs to file this paperwork before casting off. Basically, if your watercraft falls into any of these categories, state law strictly mandates you register it with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources, the DNR. This covers all motorized vessels, and yes, that explicitly includes watercraft powered by something as small as a little electric trolling motor. No exceptions there. It also covers sailboats over 12 feet in length, so there's a very clear dividing line here. While motors and larger sails require registration, manually propelled vessels, think canoes, kayaks, small sailboards, they actually get a free pass. Now, what's pretty cool is that the DNR does offer a voluntary registration for those exempt, non-motorized boats. It's just $11, and those funds go directly toward programs that benefit non-motorized boating activities. Kind of a nice way to give back. Now, if you're visiting from out of state, the crucial number to remember is 60 days. If you bring your boat from another state and operate on Wisconsin waters for more than 60 consecutive days, your temporary exemption totally expires, and you have to register locally. It's a really generous window, honestly, but if you're staying for the whole summer, you absolutely need to keep track of this. Moving on to part 2, gathering necessary documentation so we can prep for the voyage. Now that we know who actually has to register, let's get your paperwork in order before you even open up a web browser. You really want to pay close attention to the 16-foot rule here. If your motorized boat or sailboat hits 16 feet in length, Wisconsin requires it to have a certificate of title, very much like your car. If it's under 16 feet, it's usually exempt from titling, which definitely makes the paperwork a bit lighter on your end. So depending on whether your vessel is brand new, used, or previously financed, you're going to need to physically secure these specific documents from the seller before doing anything else. For a used boat that is 16 feet or longer, you absolutely need the original certificate of title. And here's a massive pro tip straight from the regulations. If the title lists multiple owners separated by the word "and," every single listed owner must sign it. Don't miss that. If it's a brand new boat, you'll need the manufacturer's statement of origin or MSO. Okay, part 3, the registration process. It's time to take action. Let's jump straight into the exact steps to submit your application and actually get you registered. While you can totally register by mail or in person at a service center, using the DNR's Go Wild digital portal is by far the fastest route. You literally just create an account using your ID, type in the boat's details like the hull identification number, and pay the fee. Doing this online is great because it lets you instantly print a 60-day temporary operating receipt. That means you can hit the water today. But a quick warning, if your boat requires a title, your transaction actually stays in a pending status until you immediately mail in those physical, original signed title documents to the DNR Processing Center down in Milwaukee. Once you're set, your registration is valid for 3 full years, expiring on March 31st of that third year. As you can see, the fees scale by boat size, ranging from $22 up to $100. Just keep in mind, this only covers the base registration fee. It doesn't include the standard 5% state sales tax, local taxes, or that $5 titling fee if your boat requires one. Next up, part 4, rules and additional considerations. Once your registration is approved and those permanent materials arrive in the mail, we have to talk about making your boat physically compliant. For standard state-registered boats, you have to apply your WS numbers and your color-coded expiration decals to the bow exactly according to some pretty strict formatting rules. You really can't just slap them on anywhere. They must be on the forward half of the boat, contrasting heavily with the hull color so law enforcement can clearly read them from a distance. And pay close attention to the 2-inch space requirement between the prefix, the numbers, and the letters. That is a super common mistake. Oh, and always carry your wallet-sized certificate of registration on board while you're operating. Now, there is an exception. If you happen to own a larger U.S. Coast Guard documented vessel, you are exempt from those bow numbers. Instead, you'll place your state expiration decals directly on the transom, flanking the federally documented name. It's a really specific rule that allows documented vessels to keep the forward lines of their hull clean while still showing state compliance. Moving on to Part 5, Tips for New Owners. Let's pivot to some rapid-fire tips curated specifically to keep first-time owners out of hot water so you can just enjoy your vessel. You're going to want to remember this timeline. State law requires you to notify the DNR within 15 days if you change your address, transfer ownership, or if the boat is lost, destroyed, or abandoned. Keeping your profile updated in the Go Wild system is crucial. It ensures you actually receive your renewal notices 3 years down the line, which completely saves you from dealing with expired registration fines. Finally, Part 6, Future Updates and Disclaimer. Let's talk about charting the course ahead and staying informed as regulations and boating seasons inevitably shift over time. Before you cast off, always remember to consult the official Wisconsin DNR website for the absolute most current advice. This explainer has given you the master blueprint, but regulations and fees can occasionally update. By verifying directly with the source, you'll be leaving the dock fully prepared for a lifetime of safe, legal adventures on the water. So I'll leave you with this. Now that you've navigated all the paperwork, which incredible Wisconsin waterway are you going to conquer first?